In this video, we're going to go through an updated version of how to do serial multiples, or basically how to put multiple images next to each other in one Photoshop file. We're going to start with 3 raw images. To select ones that are next to each other, hold down the Shift key. To select images that aren't next to each other, use the Command key. Once you've selected however many images you're using, drag them down into Photoshop, and this will allow you to open multiple images in Photoshop at the same time. You'll notice over here on the left-hand side we have the film strip, which allows you to select images. You must have them all highlighted for them to open together. I'm going to assume that you're doing the correct things like the lens corrections, color, white balance, all of that. And I'm just going to go directly to the process. So I'm going to select all of these. I'm holding down the Shift key. You could probably also do Command A, which is selecting all. You'll notice that my button now says Open Images, plural. If you wanted to open them as smart objects, you could, although we're not going to at this time. So I'm going to just click Open Images, and we're going to wait. They're going to open up tabbed, and that's okay. You're going to just pick one of them arbitrarily as the one where they're all going to be put together. And we're going to start by using the Move tool, which is either the V key or this top key, top tool on the bar. And now from the image, press and drag. I'm going to go up to my first tab and then come back into the image and let go. Okay, so I've just added, and you can see over here on the layers palette, I now have 2. Now I'm going to click on the next image, press and drag with the Move tool up to that tab of the first image and let go. And now all 3 of these images are open in the same file. I usually like to then go and close the other images. You'll notice they're asking you, do you want to save, because you did take them through Camera Raw. I don't want to save. We now need more space. So either 2 things. Either we get more space if we want to work with full-size images, or we have to make these images smaller. I'm going to show you how to do both. So image, first thing we got to do though, if you're going to make more canvas, is double click on the background, say OK. That now makes it a layer. If you miss that step, what happens is when you get more canvas space, it fills with a solid color, whatever the background color is. So to have more working space, I'm going to go Image, Canvas Size, and I'm just going to do something arbitrary since I'm going to undo it just to show you. You put in the new size, and if you want to specify what direction all that new space comes into, that's this box down here. Say OK. Command 0 shrinks everything within the window. So now you see I have more space that I can work with. So that's how to do the one of them. And when you're using the Move tool, up here on the Options bar, click Auto Select. And the nice thing about that is it will just automatically take you to whatever layer you want. I'm going to go back and show you the other method. Now the other method, the downside is then your full file will only be, because you've downsized everything. With this one, I now have a bigger file, so the quality would be better. But I want to show you both ways, and you can combine them. So at this point, I could transform the images if I wanted to have that bigger space. So the next method, I'll go into how to transform. I'm going to go into my history palette, go back to when I made these guys into layers, and I'm going to do Command 0. Actually, that's too big, so I'm going to do Command minus just to give myself a little more space. And I'm going to click on the top one and Command T, which is free transform. At this point, you can do any kind of transformation. I'm going to hold down the Shift key and from the corner press and drag. This is very important because, and I let go of the Shift key when I'm just moving it around. Otherwise, it sets it, you're kind of restricted into where you can move it. Here's what happens. Let me hit the Escape key and Command T. If you don't hold down that Shift key, then what can happen is your image is going to look squished. And you can see in the video that it no longer has the right proportions. And that's a very hard one. Once you've done that, it's very hard to kind of tell, what's correct. So I'm going to hit Escape, Command T, and Escape gets you out of that transformation. Holding down the Shift key, I'm going to, kind of roughly get it to where I think I want it. Hit Enter. I'm going to do the next one. Now the next one, I'm not going to decrease as much. And I let go of the Shift key once I am moving it and no longer scaling it. There we go. I kind of like that one. Now the next one, I actually want to come over this middle one because you'll notice if a layer is above another layer, then it literally sits over it. So this last one, I'm going to click on it and then over in the Layers palette, press and drag till the highlight comes up. Now Command T, and you can drag from any of the corners. But you can see that I need to, and I'm going to do some cropping. You can choose to crop or not, but now you can see that I think maybe I better bring this guy underneath. Now my idea with your assignment is you're actually going to be shooting them all the same in terms of the layout, so you're not going to have some of these problems. But this is just me coming up with something I can illustrate to you. So I'm moving these guys. The last element might be to crop. That's the C key or the crop tool here, which is about the 5th one down. Once you click on it, press and drag. Very important that you double check up on the options bar that this is zeroed out. Otherwise, you may accidentally be resizing your image. And I'm getting it roughly to the dimensions I want. Hit the Enter key, and now I'm ready to go. So that's the basics for doing the serial multiple in terms of how to transform an image and the easy way to drag an image from one file to another.